Hi my lovelies, join me as I dive into the beauty trends that are officially over and what's in for 2025 and challenge myself and you guys to find fresh alternatives that are actually worth trying. I might not be risking the purple blush trend. Pinterest searches for purple blush are up 30%, but I'm definitely trying the Mocha Mousse trend and I could be convinced to try the New Wave makeup trend whose search is also up 410%. So beauty is one of those things that's always evolving, and what was once the hottest trend can quickly become yesterday's news. Take all of this with a pinch of salt though, as the best makeup is what suits your coloring, features, and your personal style. But if you're passionate about staying up to date on the latest beauty trends and exploring what's new and what's next versus what's out, keep watching. With so many options out there, it can be really hard to know what's still worth trying and what's better left behind. There's definitely a certain comfort and time saving in sticking with what we know and love, but when it comes to beauty, clinging to outdated trends can actually hold us back from finding not only something that might look better on us, but might be an easier way of doing things or a better product. Not only can old trends make us look dated, but they can also suppress our self-expression and confidence. When we're attached to a certain look or style, which I know I'm guilty of, I've curled my hair for years and years, as it's easy just to do the same thing every day, especially when we found something that works. We can become resistant to change and stuck in a rut. And that's when our beauty routines start to feel stale and uninspired. Think about it. When was the last time you tried something new and exciting in your beauty routine? I've been contouring the same way for 3 years, with the stick in the cheekbones, across the forehead, down the nose, and under the jawline. So if you've been using the same old favorite products and techniques, some of these new trends might help you to get out of your comfort zone. Because beauty should be constantly evolving with us, and it's all about experimentation and evolution. So have fun with all of these. Don't be afraid to get creative and self-expressive. I hate looking at photos and realizing not just that my look feels outdated, but it's the same year after year after year. I'm not saying go completely out of your comfort zone entirely, but to take a step back, assess what's working and what's not, and make a conscious effort to stay current. So moving on to the trends that are officially over in 2025 and what's in instead. If you love them, keep them, but this is what's fresh and what's had its moment. Starting with heavy Instagram-inspired contouring. Now this trend was huge a few years ago, but the fashion world is telling us it's time to say goodbye to those harsh lines and make things a lot more natural. So if you kind of like this more contoured look, I'm not here to tell you to stop doing it, but this year we're seeing kind of harsh lines like these disappear and saying hello to a more effortless, natural look. So I'm going to keep contouring somewhat, as I know what works with my face shape and features, but instead I'm just going to try a much lighter hand when applying a bronzer or a blush to give a subtle glow. So rather than doing something like a heavy contour stick, I'm going to go in with something much more softer like this bronzer. So rather than drawing lines on for the bronzer this year, it's more about just kind of sweeping it where the sunlight would naturally hit your face without those really harsh lines. It's just a lot softer and it should make your makeup a lot quicker and easier to do. And that's one of the looks I would play around with and just see what looks most flattering on your face. I did just over contour this side of my nose as well, just to really try and even everything out so I'm not completely lopsided. So going forward, I think I will do more of kind of this cheek, forehead, natural bronze look this year and get away from doing those harsh lines I showed you on that side. And then there's a trend of brows, which I personally feel like is one area you should avoid beauty trends and do what suits your face the best. As they really should frame your face. And as you can see, I have very, very sparse brows, even though they've been microbladed. There's not a lot there, but if you do like to follow beauty trends, it's super skinny eyebrows, which some say are in for 2025 and some say are on their way out. There's a bit of a debate going on. As you can see, my eyebrows are very thin. I do try and like to thicken them up. And one way you can do it, besides using your liner and your powder, is also to go in with a gel and brush them upwards to really try and create that kind of false volume effect. And I'm going to show you on one side how I kind of cheat some extra volume and dimension. And then on the other side, I'm going to show you what you can do if you want to make them look a bit skinnier. And by brushing them upwards, you can really try and help create some extra fake brows and then also try and make them look a little bit more 3D and bushier. I'm going to brush that out so it's not quite as dark. And because, as you can see, we're working with very naturally skinny eyebrows, that's about as thick as they're going to get. Now I'm going to show you on the other eyebrow how to cheat them to look even skinnier. So for this look, rather than brushing them upwards with a tinted brow gel, I'm going to brush them just straight across in a straight line to keep them all kind of uniformed and then really neat. So I used the brow pencil, I used the brow powder, but I went that way with clear versus upwards with a coloured one. Obviously they look really dark right now because I haven't got the rest of the makeup on. And then lastly, you can go in with a concealer brush with a tiny bit of concealer in and go up into the hairs to make them as skinny as you want to make them. I would definitely, if you want to try the skinny brow trend, cheat it with concealer and makeup. Do not start over plucking. Those of us who lived through the 90s know the dangers of over plucking. Once they're gone, they're very hard, or if not impossible, to get to come back. You can also take it down on the top side there as well. And that's just the difference in beauty trends. So that's going with the bushier look, that's going with the skinny brow. But again, I feel like brow trends are one to really kind of ignore. I'm just showing you in case you do like to follow beauty trends and really just work with your face shape on what you have. I feel like the bushy brows are too much on me and these are too skinny. So I'm going to go somewhere in the middle and work on evening these out so I don't walk around like this all day. Okay, I think that's about even, but like I was saying, this is one trend I would say to avoid if you don't have naturally skinny brows. Please don't go plucking them. And if you're blessed with bushier brows, embrace them. If you're not, a little brushing upwards, like I showed you, can cheat some volume with the little we do have. Okay, and next trend is Pantone's color of the year, which is Mocha Mousse, which means we're going to see lots of browns this year, not just taking over our closet, but also our makeup palettes. Now, thankfully, coffee tones suit most of us and are easy to apply versus bright colors. You just really want to make sure you're finding the right shades of brown for you. Obviously, it's not one shade suits all. You might be warmer, you might be cooler toned. So play around with this trend and find something very, very flattering for you. And I'm going in with a couple of colors. I'm starting with a lighter one. This is Charlotte Tilbury. It's number 3. It's actually a face powder, but I use it as an eyeshadow, and I find this way it lasts really well and it doesn't crease throughout the day either. And last year I would have gone in and stamped my crease. What I mean by that is doing the outside corner to get a very crisp line. This year I'm going to skip that step and go in and just make it a lot softer. So I'm just going to go in. I might kind of stamp it a little bit on the outer corner, but then just working it inwards very, very softly and evenly, so I'm not creating any harsh lines anywhere in my makeup for 2025. You don't have to just limit brown to your eyeshadow. You can use it all over your face, your bronzer, your mascara, your eyeliner, your lipstick, just to create a really monochromatic, cohesive look that's very in right now. And I love this shade from Urban Decay. It's called Bourbon. It's got a slight kind of shimmer to it, which is another trend I will get to in a little bit. Now, when it comes to using browns on your lips, be very careful with this, and it might change from season to season how dark you go. I like this color in the summer, but it's probably going to be way too dark for me now just because I'm quite white in the winter. So if it doesn't have to be, like, don't think it has to be like tree brown. It can be a shade of brown. So this kind of has a bit of gold in it, almost looks a bit peachy, which it doesn't normally. Or you could go in with kind of like a browny nude. Don't think it, like I said, it has to be that dark brown. So that's almost a pinky brown. So play around, just see what works, what's the most flattering for you, like I talked about with the brow shapes. Beauty trends are fun, have fun with them, but don't think it has to be by the book. We've talked about the brows, we've talked about colors, we've talked about contour. Let's talk about semi-matte skin being the beauty trend of 2025. Another trend that's had its day is the uber trendy glass skin or dolphin skin look. Don't get me wrong, who doesn't want to look like they're radiant and glowing from within? But the problem is it's just not achievable for most of us, and the constant pursuit of perfection can be absolutely exhausting. Not to mention it can also cause the rest of your makeup to slide because it hasn't got that drier base. It's almost too creamy, too moist. So take, for example, the extreme highlighting that was the rage a few seasons ago. I mean, who didn't love a good highlight? We were highlighting our cheeks, under our eyebrows, across our Cupid's bow, the nose, tip of the nose, the bridge of the nose. And I know I was going to town on my brow bones, nose, upper lid, and cheekbones. In fact, one of you called me out and said my nose was actually distracting the highlight on it. So I got rid of that really quickly. So thank you for letting me know things like that. I do appreciate it because we often see things differently in the mirrors ourselves, or we're too caught up in beauty trends. So this is what I'm saying about beauty trends. Try them, but if they don't work, scrap them. So let's be real, there is a difference between a glow and being a disco ball. So for 2025, instead try using a subtle highlighting serum or cream to give your skin a gentle lit from within glow. I personally find cream formulas much more flattering as well, as they don't sit in the fine lines as much as powders tend to do, and they also look more natural. The ones I really like, now they can be hard to blend, they do dry down quite quickly, is the Charlotte Tilbury highlighter stick. And I love them so much. I have a few colors. I have the pink, I have the Peachgasm, I have Pillow Talk, I have the Hollywood Beauty Light wand in a spotlight. But the one I keep coming back to is Peachgasm. It's just the best one on me. And I tend to not use my fingers. I tend to use a brush and then really light, like that's already coming out too dark. So I'm going to use some of it over there as well. And then you just want to work pretty quickly. And like I said, for 2025, we're not doing that big highlight, not doing the big contour. So this doesn't have to be perfect. You want it to look just as natural as possible. And what I like about this is trying to get as close as possible. Do you see how I mean? It's not being that bright highlighter beam. It's creating more of that softer kind of a glow on there, which is why I'm just going to do the Peachgasm this year, I think, and skip the spotlight. The reason being, the spotlight is more of kind of this older beauty trend. You see how that's so bright. So on my skin, it would create that very unnatural glow. It's fun. Play around with it. If you like that look, keep doing it. But for this year, I'm going to stick to just keeping that more natural look. It's also much quicker than throwing on a lot more products. If you prefer something brighter and more statement making, this beauty trend for 2025 is for you. 80s makeup is back. So according to Pinterest, searches for purple blush, yes, purple blush, are up 30% as seen at 3.1 Philip Lim runway in September, while new wave makeup is up 410%. Now, I'm not brave enough for purple blush, but I could be convinced to try a glittery eye, or like today, I'm going to try an iridescent pink lip with you. I think it'd be really pretty for a night out. So for this look, I'm going in with Wild Pink, which is from Doors Custom Cosmetics, which is my makeup line. It has cool undertones, so the pink actually helps to make your teeth look whiter. That's why I tend to love cool undertones for lipsticks. Then I'm going in with, I haven't tried this before, it's Confidence in a Serum Gloss by IT Cosmetics. And can you see that's iridescent in there? So this is obviously a very affordable way to try a new beauty trend. I don't think it's going to be too over the top. I have pink all over my wand. That wasn't smart, was it? I should have used a lip brush. And that's a very easy, subtle way of trying the beauty trend without doing glittery eyes or purple blush, but still feeling a little bit more on trend and fresh for 2025. If you love the 70s aesthetic, 2025 is for you. With 70s hair, think bangs, shaggy cuts, cute bobs, and soft waves that embrace what you already have being in style this year versus just trying so hard. It's the same carefree approach that's going to go for our makeup routines. Think semi-matte skin and a monochromatic look. Multi-use products are also great for this. You can use the same shade on your eyes, lips, and cheeks, add mascara and a lip balm and call it a day. But the biggest trend that's officially over in 2025 is the over-reliance on filters and Facetunes. Now, I don't know how much this is actually going to happen, as most of us are pretty attached to them. It's really easy to get sucked into the world of social media and feel like we need to present a perfect airbrushed version of ourselves. And I'm not saying I'm going to stop editing all of my photos, but I do also post all of these videos without editing or a filter. And I'm always on my Instagram stories, au natural with no makeup too. So I really try to strike a balance. However, the truth is those filters and editing apps, unless you're really good with not overdoing them, which the tendency is to do, they're not just unrealistic, but they can also be really damaging to our self-esteem and to other people's self-esteem as well. So if you're up for it, take a step back, think about when you want to use it, when you don't, and try and embrace our natural beauty a bit more and celebrate our unique features. Obviously, do whatever's best for your mental health, not because someone else has said to do it or not to do it. So what are the main beauty trends that are out, and what should we be trying instead? Let's recap. We're saying goodbye to heavy contouring, the glass skin look, extreme highlighting, and the over-reliance on filters and Facetune, and saying hello to a more natural, effortless approach to beauty that celebrates individuality and expression. On camera, I'll still be going pretty heavy as it just reads better, but when I'm not filming, I don't even wear makeup most of the time. I prefer to spend my extra time on skincare. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to share your thoughts on these trends in the comments below. Let me know if you've got a favorite trend that you're sad to see go, or that you're not giving up, or if you're excited to try something new. Let me know. And if you want more beauty tips and tricks, be sure to check out my video on the top 3 makeup mistakes you're making and how to fix them. The link is in the description box below.